How's it going, everybody? I am the Texas Man. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit that bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on my channel. Also, please head over to Twitch and follow me at Douglas447. No caps, no spaces. Of course, we are continuing on with reading through The Island, and this is part 2. Make sure you guys check out part 1 before you guys continue watching through this read through. And with that, let's get into it. Chapter 2, Volcano Trip. June 25th, 1996. Day 3 of me being trapped on this island and the other party of the survivors. Not one rescue party on a boat or an airplane had been seen. Sawyer tried to use his cell phone to call for help, but he couldn't get a signal to call for help. Last night he even told me he tried too much that the battery died. Others of the group had done the same thing with their cell phones, but didn't last as long because they were dropped in the ocean water. I thought about staying at Beach Base for one more day. I knew that if we left and a rescue party did come, that the ones that left Beach Base would not be rescued with the ones that stayed. I was having a difficult moment in deciding what I should do with the group. I was even questioning myself about being commander and whether or not Phil should take my place. I was at a loss. My decision would be an eye-opener to my friends, and as for Phil becoming commander or leader of this group, his chance would never come. I left my hut of wood and began to tell the group of my thoughts. This was my speech. I have decided to make a choice for you instead of an order. I'm taking this machine gun and leaving to travel through the underground tunnel. Those that wish to stay here and wait may do so. Those that wish to come with me to the tunnel may also do so. For those that are staying, I say goodbye for now, but for those that are coming with me, make sure to have food for at least 5 days. I'm leaving in 2 hours. Nearly 3/4 of the group returned to increasing the signal fire, and the other 1/4 decided that to go with me. And the other 1/4 that decided to go with me were exactly the ones that I had ordered to come to the tunnel in the first place. I reminded them about the signal fire possibly being spotted and that they could be trapped on this island forever if they came with me. All 7 of them knew what they were doing, and so, in 2 hours, the 8 of us left for the tunnel. Within 2 hours, the group, now consisting of just 8, arrived at the tunnel's entrance and began the adventure inside. There were no creatures inside of the tunnel, and no sunlight ahead for a period of time. We must have been in the tunnel for at least 5 hours before I ordered a break. The break included eating food and rubbing sore feet. We continued on after that 10-minute break, and soon afterwards I saw sunlight up ahead. I walked even farther to see that we had arrived at the other side of the tunnel. We exited out of the tunnel only to realize that we were still standing on this island. "Look, an old pirate ship," said Chris, Sawyer's 10-year-old boy. The group looked to see a gigantic pirate ship. All 8 of us climbed the ladder and were on the ship's deck within 2 minutes. "This is the Destroyer. This ship belonged to Pirate Flynn and was recorded missing back in 1200, said Phil, being a school teacher on the subject of history. "Stay here while John and I search the interior," I said. John and I crept through a small hole in the deck's floor and began our search. All John and I found was some swords, cannonballs, and buckets of gunpowder. We struggled back up to the ship's main deck. When we struggled back up to the ship's main deck, John and I were greeted with a young lady with a machine gun pointed at us and the rest of the group in a metal cage. "Who are you?" asked the woman. "My name is Jack, and this is John," I said. "Why are you and your friends here?" asked the woman. "We crashed," I said. "You're not TEC employees?" "You're the survivors from the crash on this island on June 23rd, 1996 on Flight 193, said the woman. "Yes," I said, with questions of my own. "It's a pleasure to meet you at last. My name is Sue," said the woman. Sue pressed an electronic button and freed the other 6 members of the group. The group had several questions to ask. "You are Sue, Flint's wife?" You should be dead, said Phil. I think this will answer your question, said Sue. Sue informed the group that she was actually 776 years old. The reason being was that the island prevents aging. Then Sue told the group of 8 that the reason for flight 193's crash was that the plane ventured too close to the island, and the island's special magnetic properties pulled the plane down towards the island, leading to its crash. Lastly, Sue told them about a time machine she had just recently finished, the location, and that she was going to use it to reverse the past before becoming the present and future events. How do you know about our crash in such full detail, and who is the TEC? I asked. I used the time machine to venture to 2012 and found information about your plane crash, but the time machine allows you to only be in a different time for one day, said Sue. Also, the TEC, which stands for Time Experiment Company, also known as the Others, came to this island in the year 1992 to study the island's magnetic properties and turn the island's magic into a time machine of their own, said Sue. So the machine guns that I found at the entrance to the tunnel came from where? I asked. I secretly sought out parts for my time machine from the TEC base, but was seen, so I took several machine guns to defend myself against the Others, and eventually left them at the tunnel's entrance for safekeeping, said Sue. Roar! That was a terrible roar, but I'll be at the idea. Everybody looked to see 8 Raptors surrounding the destroyer, Flint's ship. The group, including Sue, locked and loaded their machine guns and began blasting the Raptors. After 2 minutes, the group of 9 had eliminated the 8 Raptors without losing any of their friends. How can there be this many different forms of creatures on this island that are told to be extinct? I asked. In the year 1200, Flint brought gigantic boulders of gold on this island that were thought to be just gold, but they turned out to be gigantic creature eggs covered in gold, said Sue. What type of creatures are on this island that we should be concerned about? I asked. The remaining creatures are a Spinosaurus, a T-Rex, an anaconda, an octopus, at least 5 polar bears, and 25 pterodactyls. That's at least, said Sue. I allowed Sue to join our group. I even allowed her to lead us because she had been on the island far longer than anyone else. Sue was taking us to the TEC base, where she was going to attempt to steal batteries for the time machine to work properly. We began our journey through the island's jungle and found what appeared to be the remains of the gold eggs. I ordered John and Ted to check the eggs and make sure that none of them were still intact. 14 seconds later, I and the rest of the group heard the sound of 2 machine guns firing. "Let's move!" I said to the group. When the 7 of us arrived, we saw John and Ted covered in blood. "What happened?" asked everybody. "We found a few eggs that weren't hatched and we blasted them, resulting in the mess on ourselves," said Ted. Sue tossed the 2 men some dry clothes and told them to change. "Why?" I asked. "The smell of blood will attract the creatures to us," said Sue. While John and Ted changed clothes, I had a few questions still for Sue. "Have the Others finished building their time machine? How are we getting to the Others' base? And do you have a map of this island so we can find the bunker if something should happen to you to reverse the past?" I asked. Sue replied with, "No, the Others have not finished their time machine because I have been stealing the parts to do so. The easiest way to reach the Others' base is to take the south side of the volcano and through the pterodactyl cage. And yes, I have a map of the island," said Sue, pulling the map out and passing it to me. "Did you lose someone during the crash here?" asked Sawyer, watching me hold a picture of Kate. "Yes, Sawyer, I did," I replied. "Was she a friend?" asked Sawyer, with Chris coming by his father's side. "No, she was my wife, the best any man could have had. Her seatbelt was jammed and she drowned," I replied, with tears coming down my face. "You should be happy, Jack. I lost my wife and father by the hands of the shark," said Sawyer. I turned around to face Sawyer and Chris to see Sawyer with tears coming down his face, just like me, and just like me, he was seeing their death in his mind. "Ready to move when you are, Jack," said John, following Ted with their new clothes on. "John," I said in a whisper into John's ear when he passed me, "I want you to watch Phil all the time. I fear that he'll try taking control of the group, because he may not want to continue onwards to the other's base," I continued. John understood and began to walk with the other part of the group. The time was unknown to me because our watches would not work due to the island's magic, but to me it felt close to 4 in the afternoon. "Get down," said Sue softly. Sue and I were the first in line leading the group, but I didn't see anything. "What is it, Sue?" I asked. "The entrance to the pterodactyl cage is up ahead, but there is a T-Rex blocking the way," said Sue. "Ted and I will distract the T-Rex while the rest of you enter the pterodactyl cage," said Sue. I watched as Sue and Ted moved into position and saw that they were waiting for my go signal. I signaled Sue and Ted, not knowing the danger that I had placed them in. Sue and Ted opened fire on the T-Rex, and the T-Rex's response was to charge at the humans and chase them down. Sue and Ted began to run, but were met by something very strange. At first I couldn't think of what the creature was, with yellow eyes, an extremely long tail, and a sail on its back. Then it hit me. It was a Spinosaurus. Sue and Ted ran towards me and the other part of the group that were entering the pterodactyl cage, but were trapped between the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus. "Jack, run! And find the batteries to use the bunker," said Sue. Everybody was inside of the pterodactyl cage besides me. I closed the titanium door and bolted it shut, leaving Sue and Ted outside to die. Inside of the cage, the group of now 7 listened as Sue and Ted were eaten alive. I wished that they had the chance to eat a bullet before being eaten, to not have to experience the feeling of 50 more razor-sharp teeth crushing their bodies. I opened a small window to see if Sue and Ted were gone from sight, and they were. Then the 7 of us watched as the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus dueled each other, as if though eating our friends wasn't a big enough meal to fill their stomachs. Spike, a shorter name for a Spinosaurus, whipped its tail and threw it at the T-Rex. The T-Rex ducked, and the tail missed. The T-Rex bit down on Spike's sail and kicked Spike in the head. Spike turned his head and bit down on the T-Rex's neck. The T-Rex let go of Spike and tried to get Spike off of his neck, but was unsuccessful. Spike dove his teeth deeper into the T-Rex's neck. Spike clawed at the T-Rex's face and left several scratches. Then a loud snap was heard. It was the sound of the T-Rex's neck splitting and the death of the T-Rex as well. "Great move, Jack. Now Sue and Ted are dead," said Phil, still wishing to be leader of the group. "I had no purpose in putting them in harm's way. Plus Sue thought she knew what she was doing and asked for Ted's help. I didn't tell them to have the T-Rex hunt them," I said. "You still think you can lead us off of this island alive?" asked Phil. Yes, I do," I replied. "Although Sue is dead, she gave me a map of the island, so we can still go to the other's base to steal the batteries for the time machine, and then we all can return to the past to stop the plane crash," I said. The group now consisted of the following: John the hunter, Bobby and Nick that were both scientists and brothers, Phil the person that wished to be the leader of the group, and Sawyer the father of Chris. The group left the entrance to this titanic cage and began to explore it. The cage was extremely lengthy, with a bridge over the water to reach the other side that had the exit door to continue onwards to the other's base. And that's going to do it for me, guys. This has been part 2 of The Island. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys stick around and subscribe, and be prepared for part 3 coming out very soon. Have a good one, guys.